Once upon a time, in the kingdom of Meridia, the bustling marketplace was the pride of its people. Merchants traded goods from across the seas, silk from the east, spices from the south, and machinery from the industrial giants in the west. The variety delighted consumers, but beneath the surface, some local producers were struggling. Artisans who once thrived selling their handmade wares found it hard to compete with cheaper imports. Farmers watched as foreign produce flooded the market, undercutting their prices. Concerned for their people, the rulers of Meridia decided to use trade protection, a set of policies designed to shield domestic industries from foreign competition while fostering growth at home. But trade protection wasn't a simple solution. It came in different forms, each with its own benefits and challenges. The first policy they introduced was tariffs, a tax on imported goods. Imagine a farmer named Ella whose apples were losing out to cheaper imports. By imposing a tariff on foreign apples, the government raised their price, making Ella's produce more competitive. Consumers began buying more local apples, supporting Ella and her community. However, as the months passed, some customers grumbled about the higher prices they now had to pay for imported apples and other goods. Tariffs helped Ella, but they also raised costs for consumers. Next, the rulers tried quotas, limiting the number of certain goods that could be imported. A blacksmith named John, who made high-quality tools, was struggling against a flood of cheap mass-produced imports. The government set a quota on these tools, reducing their availability in Meridia. With fewer imports on the market, demand for John's tools rose, allowing him to grow his business. However, merchants complained that quotas restricted variety, leaving some customers unable to find the imported goods they preferred. To further support domestic industries, the government introduced subsidies. Picture a textile factory run by Lena who couldn't compete with low-cost fabrics from abroad. With subsidies, Lena received financial support from the government to reduce her production costs. This allowed her to lower her prices and compete more effectively in the marketplace. The move boosted jobs in the textile industry, but it came at a cost. Higher taxes to fund the subsidies, which some citizens resented. Meridia's rulers also experimented with administrative barriers, such as stringent health and safety standards for imported goods. Foreign producers now had to meet these standards, which slowed the influx of cheap, low-quality items. While this protected Meridia's consumers and producers, foreign exporters viewed the barriers as a tactic to reduce competition unfairly. One day, an advisor to the king suggested embargoes, the most extreme form of trade protection. The kingdom decided to stop importing certain goods entirely from a rival nation, citing national security concerns. While the embargo showed Meridia's strength, it also strained relationships with the rival country and limited options for local consumers. As these policies played out, Meridia's economy changed. Local industries grew stronger, creating jobs and boosting pride in domestic products. Farmers, blacksmiths, and factory workers thrived under the protection of these policies. However, the kingdom also faced challenges. Consumers paid higher prices, and some industries became complacent without the pressure of competition. Additionally, other nations began to retaliate with their trade restrictions, reducing Meridia's exports and straining diplomatic ties. Meridia's story mirrors real-world trade protection policies. For instance, In the 1930s, during the Great Depression, many nations imposed high tariffs under the Smoot-Hawley Act to protect domestic industries. While the intent was to save jobs, the resulting trade wars deepened the global economic downturn. More recently, countries have used subsidies to support renewable energy industries, fostering innovation while facing backlash from foreign competitors. Trade protection is like a double-edged sword. On one side, it shields vulnerable industries, preserves jobs, and supports economic stability. On the other, it can raise prices for consumers, reduce the variety of goods available, and provoke retaliation from trading partners. The Kingdom of Meridia eventually found balance. Its rulers worked to ensure that trade protection was used sparingly and strategically. They implemented policies to make their industries more competitive globally, investing in innovation, education, and infrastructure. Over time, Meridia opened its markets to fair competition, allowing its people to enjoy the benefits of trade while maintaining a robust and resilient economy. The story of trade protection reminds us that economics isn't just about policies, it's about people. Behind every tariff, quota, or subsidy are individuals like Ella, John, and Lena, whose lives are shaped by the global marketplace. Understanding trade protection helps us navigate its complexities, ensuring that the benefits of trade are shared fairly and sustainably.